What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Lions video. Now, over the past couple of days, we have talked and we have gone into extensive detail about the Detroit Lions' first three draft picks, being the number one offensive tackle in Penei Sewell, the number one defensive tackle in Levi Onwuzurike, as well as arguably the number one nose tackle in Alim McNeill. The Lions addressed the trenches early in the draft class. However, with their second third round pick, with the 101st selection in the NFL draft, they moved and addressed the secondary by selecting Ifeadi Melifonwu, the cornerback out of Syracuse. Now, just as we have done the three previous times and with the three previous prospects, today we are going to be going over Ifeadi Melifonwu, where he was drafted, why he was drafted, his strengths, his weaknesses, and what we can expect from the Syracuse cornerback. Now, before we get into the video and before we get into talking about the Lions' newest secondary member, if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It's quick, free, and easy, and you'd be helping the channel out more than you could possibly know. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into talking about Ifeadi Melifonwu, the cornerback prospect out of Syracuse. Now, Ifeadi Melifonwu came into this draft class as arguably a top 5 cornerback. He was my number 5 cornerback on the big board, just barely beating out Asante Samuel Jr. for that 5th cornerback spot. Now, Ifeadi Melifonwu stands at 6'2" and 205 pounds with an 80-inch wingspan and a 32-inch arms. Very similarly to the other 3 prospects before him, Ifeadi Melifonwu had an incredible RAS score of 9.69, actually ranking him the number 5 cornerback in the class, just solely ranked off of RAS scores. Now, Ifeadi spent 3 years with the Syracuse Orange and spent 3 years as a member of their secondary. He played in 23 games for Syracuse, totaling 88 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 3 interceptions, and 19 passes defended. Now, he did run a 4.48 40-yard dash, which is not phenomenal, is not incredible for the cornerback position. However, he did have a 41.5-inch vertical, which is incredibly good for any player at any position, especially a cornerback position where your job is to outjump people to the football. Now, Ifeadi was put into a range of just phenomenal athletes as a setting 9.69 RAS score, ranking him as the number 5 cornerback in the class just solely based off raw athletic score. And in my opinion, as I said, I put him at my number 5 cornerback overall. Now, Ifeadi plays mostly off coverage. He gives a lot of cushion to a lot of wide receivers. He's not very adept. He's not very used to, nor is he very comfortable playing a press technique. He gives a lot of cushion. He plays a lot of off technique, which has both its advantages and disadvantages, just as it would be if he was more of a press man corner. Ifeadi, in my opinion, does have the size and the skills to play press coverage, and I think he does have the ability to develop the play style. He does have the ability to develop and learn how to press at the line much better, which would allow him to just become a more scheme diverse, just a better all-around cornerback. However, as of right now, as of him being a rookie going into OTAs and training camp, he is not very adept, nor is he very comfortable in press coverage. He likes playing off. He likes giving that little bit of a cushion, which just allows him to use his athletic ability, his explosiveness, his drive, his length, just get in there, break up footballs, break up passes, and really just be a very, very effective cornerback. Ifeadi, although he's not very good at being physical at the line, although he's not very adept at pressing wide receivers, he is a very, very good tackler. He's a guy that does not miss a lot of tackles. He makes a lot of tackles in the open field, and he is not afraid to lay the boom. He's not afraid to hit you, whether you be a quarterback, whether you be a quarterback while he's blitzing, whether you be the wide receiver that catches a ball in his vicinity, or even if it's a running back on a running play. Ifeadi Melifonwu is not afraid to step up and put his shoulder into you. He's not afraid to make a tackle. He is not afraid to be physical when somebody else is trying to get to the end zone. Like, he is a very, very good coverage guy. He has really good coverage skills, but if you somehow do catch the ball on Ifeadi Melifonwu, you are going to know it because he is going to hit you. He is going to put you on the ground more times than than not. There were not too many examples where I saw Fetty miss a tackle or where somebody were to just absolutely break his ankles or something like that. Like, he is a really, really solid tackler, and with his skill set and with his play style, although he is a cornerback, and I think he can be a really, really functional, I think he can be a really productive cornerback in the NFL, I actually think he looks a little bit better at safety, and I think the Lions are going to look to transition him to a safety position. As I said, he does primarily play off coverage, which would theoretically translate better to a safety position where you're very often off coverage. As a starting safety, you're not put in too many positions where you are pressing a wide receiver or you are pressing a tight end at the line. He does have the length to do it. He is, as I said, 6'2", 205 pounds, which is pretty ideal size and weight for a safety. He does have pretty long arms, 32-inch arms with an 80-inch wingspan. I mean, he is athletic enough, he is big enough, he is long enough to play the safety position, at an incredibly high level. As I said, he has the athletic ability, he has the explosiveness to drive on passes if he's a center fielding free safety, and as well as having that tackling ability. Overall, I think Ifedi will do well as a cornerback, and I think he can play a multitude of different roles in the Detroit Lions defense. The Lions could very easily leave him at the cornerback position. I think they could do that, and he would still be a phenomenal player. I mean, as I said, he's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's got long arms, he's got great length for the cornerback position. Like, he has all the tools to be a Pro Bowl caliber cornerback. However, I do think his skill set, I think his play style does make it easier for him to transition to cornerback or transition to safety. But either way, he could play boundary cornerback, he could play slot, he could play safety, he could play free or strong safety. He has the skill set to do both. And honestly, I think this pick gives the Lions a very versatile player for their secondary, and the reason I think that they're going to play him at safety more than cornerback is because they have put a lot of capital into their cornerback room and have not put a lot of capital into their safeties. I do believe that one of our cornerbacks is going to move to safety, whether it be Jeff Okudah, whether it be Ifedi Melifonwu, maybe they look to move Amani there as well. Like, one of our cornerbacks is going to move to safety because our cornerback room is actually really, really competitive. You have Amani, you have Okudah, you have Mike Ford, you have Quentin Dunbar, you have Corn Elder, and now you have Ifedi Melifonwu. All of these players, in my opinion, are starting caliber players. You know, the worst guy in that room right now is probably Corn Elder, and he did play a significant amount of snaps in the Carolina Panthers defense a season ago and looked really, really solid doing so. So our cornerback room is a relatively competitive one, and I do think our cornerbacks are going to be really, really good this season. However, our secondary as a whole, and in particular our safety room, cannot say the same. We have Tracy Walker, who I believe is a very good safety and should get a lot of snaps at that high free safety position, just letting him go be a ball hawk and letting him go win, letting him go out jump, out athlete people and just go get the football. But outside of that, we don't have a second starting safety, and I have a feeling that Aaron Glenn is going to run a system that prioritizes two safeties more times than not. And with that being the case, our second safety right now is either Will Harris, it's Dean Marlowe, or it's CJ Moore. Like, those are our safeties. That is our safety room. There's nobody behind Tracy Walker. So I do believe the Lions, with the fact that they haven't really addressed the safety position yet this offseason, I think they have confidence in one of their guys on the roster that they can move to safety and have him play at a very high level, and I believe that is the route that they are going to go. So although Ifedi is a very good cornerback, I think he has the versatility, I think he has the talent to be a starting safety on this team as well. So with that being the case, as an overall grade, I give this pick an A. This is a very similar pickup. I mean, very similar grade to what I've given everybody else. I think this was a very good pick. This was phenomenal value for a cornerback. As I said, a top 5 cornerback in my rankings. There's no way he should have been available at the 101st position. However, he was. It's tremendous value. It solidifies a very, very good cornerback room. It gives versatility to a safety room that is incredibly shallow. I would expect him not to get a lot of playing time early, especially at the cornerback position, as there is a lot of competition. However, he could see increased playing time over the remainder of the season. As week 9, week 10 rolls around, as that season starts to be, become grueling, it becomes more of a grind, and as players start to wear and tear and get a little bit more injury prone throughout the season, I think you can see Ifedi step in a little bit more. I think throughout the season, we're going to see increased playing time for Ifedi week after week after week, and I think by the end of the season, Ifedi could potentially develop into a full-time starting cornerback in the Detroit Lions secondary, or again, if the Lions want to move him to safety, he could be a full-time starting safety even earlier than that. So with that being said, I think this is a phenomenal pick for the Detroit Lions. I give this pick an A. It's great value. It solidifies a position. It gives versatility in the secondary. It really cleans up our secondary and kind of completes it, makes it look a lot better than what it otherwise would have been. And overall, I think this was just a phenomenal pick from every which way you want to look at it. Now, with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about this pickup? What do you think about Ifeadi Melifonwu? Did you like the pickup? Did you like him at the cornerback position? Did you like the value of the pick? And did you like the Lions addressing the cornerback spot before the safety position? Let me know that down in the comments below. I'd be very interested to hear what you guys think. But with all that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. And until next time, and as always, go Lions!